Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Today we're going to be testing out the new Fenty Beauty Soft Lit Naturally Luminous Longwear Foundation. So this was just launched by Fenty. I believe it's replacing their original Pro Filter Hydrating Foundation in the squeezy tube with a pump. I recall really liking that one, but obviously it wasn't special enough because I never kept it in rotation. This retails for $36 US or 54 Canadian. This has a 12-month shelf life and is made in Korea. So this is supposed to be a hydrating and glowy foundation that's waterproof and reduces shine for a notch above natural finish with medium coverage. This is supposed to be a long wear medium coverage foundation that gives golden hour glow in a bottle. It hydrates, brightens, and improves the look of skin tone immediately and over time while resisting sweat, humidity, and transfer. So I can tell you right now, I have been wearing this for the past week. I actually got this in at the very beginning of the week, and I've just had such a busy week. I haven't had time to film a wear test. That being said, I have still been wearing this and trying it out, and I will say I've been really liking it. So this is what the bottle looks like. It is a heavy frosted glass jar, very similar to the matte foundation, but the matte foundation bottle is a bit more of an oval. This is more of a hexagonal shape. It's really nice. You do get a nice pump here as well. I did pick up the shade 120 and it's actually quite a perfect match for me. But let me zoom you in. I'll start putting this on the face and I can also tell you what I found over the last week, and then we will get into our full day wear test. So as with all of my foundation review and wear tests, I like to prime and powder one side of my face and not the other so that we can kind of see how the different sides hold up. So I have gone ahead and primed this side with my Cali Ray primer. And let's just get to putting this on the face. So I'm just going to take a pump on my palette, and it is a bit more of a liquidy formula. And how I've been loving this over the last few days is just by using my sponge and dotting it all over the skin. You can see the shade 120 is pretty much a perfect shade for me. So like I said, I've been trying this for a few days and I do quite like it. I think it looks really beautiful on the skin. It does give a soft glow that's not too much, which I really appreciate, but it does give a really nice finish. I do think this is one you might want to powder because this is one that is very hydrating and actually does stay kind of wet throughout the day. So if you can't stand the feel of your foundation on your skin, if you'd like your foundation to dry down, you're definitely going to want to set this with powder. If you do that, you will certainly lose some of that soft radiance, but it still looks really nice. I'm just somebody who can't stand touching my face throughout the day and feeling foundation, so I just wanted to mention that for sure. That's just something I've observed over the last few days. But this is with and without, so you can see again, the shade match is almost spot on perfect. I'm really pleased with that shade match. I love the way it makes my skin look. It makes my skin look very soft and healthy and just so evened out. I see what they're saying that it improves the skin tone immediately because that is definitely the case. I love how my skin looks when I've been wearing this foundation, and I've been having a really hard time recently reaching for foundations other than my NARS Light Reflecting. We know I love that one so much, but this one I'm actually excited to reach for, so that is a very good sign. I've really been liking it. And I did just do a really light layer, so you can see that while there is a luminosity to it, right now it doesn't feel like I have anything on my skin, but if I were to touch my face, it does feel like I have a heavier moisturizer. So again, if you don't like that, just be mindful to set the foundation, but I just love how it looks on the skin. It's just such a beautiful finish. I am going to try the other side with a brush because that's something that I haven't done yet with this foundation. And I'm just using my BK Beauty 101. I believe at the time I'm filming this, the BK Beauty Mother's Day sale has started, so if there is anything you want to pick up from that, now is a great time to do so. This is one of my favorite brushes, and so is the A506 Concealer, another huge favorite of mine. And this even applies beautifully with the brush. I'm kind of liking the finish with the sponge better, but both sides look really nice. I am just going to go in with my sponge just to make everything look even more seamless, but I think you can see how quickly that was to apply to the skin. So keep in mind, I primed this side, not this side, and I used a brush on this side, and this side is definitely looking a little bit more luminous, which is fine. I am going to use a powder on this side of my face. I will set both under eyes, but I'm going to powder at this side of my face and not this side so that we can see how they wear throughout the day. But you can see the foundation has given a beautiful coverage to my skin, particularly this side of my face has just been having an absolute fit lately, and it's just been looking not so good. So I love how much coverage I'm getting from this foundation. On this side, we're looking a little more flawless, but both sides look really, really nice. And again, it just feels very, very weightless. If I touch my skin, I can still feel it. I do think it transfers a little bit, and it will if you don't set it down with the powder, but it just looks so pretty. And the luminosity is there, but it's not too much. So I'm really, really liking that. So I am just going to go in with my Natasha Denona concealer. This is my absolute favorite concealer. The concealer even blends in absolutely perfectly with that foundation. I'm loving that. This is a really great base combo. I'm loving it. Okay, and I'm just using my Pat McGrath Under Eye Blurring Powder. I cannot tell you how much I love the way that concealer blended with the foundation. It was so seamless. Like I mentioned, just getting the eyes on both sides. And then this side also setting the center of the face. So I think you can see how the powder definitely mattified everything, definitely took down that luminosity, but it's still looking quite nice. Okay, let me pop off camera. I'll finish up the rest of my makeup and I'll be back to get my wear test started. All right, so this is the final look. I am still absolutely loving the way this foundation is looking on my skin. Everything just looks so fresh and even, and I just love the way that it looks. My skin looks just really soft and really healthy, and even the soft radiance it's giving my skin, it just looks like I'm having a really, really good skin day, in my opinion. And that has also been my experience over the past several days. So I am going to go about the rest of my day. I have a lot to do. I'm also going to try to fit in a good solid walk and see what else happens throughout the day, but I really want to put this one through the test. So that is where we'll leave it for now. I will see you guys at the end of the day with my final thoughts. All right, so we are now at the very end of the day and I am very ready to take off the makeup. But first I wanted to check in and share my thoughts on the current situation, how the foundation is looking. And I think that much like the last few days that I've worn this foundation, it's held up beautifully. I really do. I think it looks very, very nice. It's at the point where it doesn't necessarily feel wet to the touch anymore. I find that it maintains that for the first 4 or 5 hours, I noticed. Again, it's not overly wet, and the more you pack it on, the more it's going to have that effect, but it's really not wet. It's more so just like a thick moisturizer kind of feel to the skin, but if you don't like the feeling of it not drying down fully, that is just something to note about this one. Otherwise, it still looks so nice on the skin. We are definitely getting back a little bit of that glow over here as my natural oils come through, but it's still looking really, really nice. Over here, it's still looking glowy, but again, not so overly glowy that I'm upset by it by any means. I noticed the areas where I've got a couple breakouts, they're looking a little rough, but those spots are drying out and healing and getting better, so that's really not the fault of the foundation, but it is starting to break down a little bit on my jaw, but that's okay. I've lost a little bit off my chin as well. Otherwise, the forehead is looking a little bit shiny, but again, not bad. Again, I am a very dry skin type, so I don't really struggle with a lot of oiliness. I just think overall it still looks really, really nice. So this is a little over 12 hours at this point. It still looks so good. I still feel very put together, very flawless. It still feels very comfortable. I find this formula to be very, very weightless, and it just maintains such a beautiful level of coverage throughout the day. So I am really, really happy with this foundation. I love the wear time. I love the medium to buildable coverage of this. I love that it does exactly what the name indicates and that it gives sort of like a soft lit kind of glow. I think that's very, very pretty. It doesn't feel heavy. It just looks so nice on the skin. I like that it applied well with the sponge and with the brush. I did end up getting into a lot today. It was a very busy work day. I also managed to fit in a pretty long walk, so I definitely worked up a sweat there too, and it still looks really good. I've since had lunch, I've had dinner, and it's still looking really, really nice. So I am very impressed by this. I would say that this is probably the best Fenty foundation I've tried. Their previous hydrating foundation, I remember liking it, but I don't remember loving it. The Pro Filter Matte Foundation is also good, but a little bit too matte for my taste. My favorite foundation of all time is easily the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation, but I have to say, if I ran out of this one, I wouldn't panic too much as long as I had this in my collection. Like I said, I've been wearing this for a few days. I've been testing it out. I keep having good experiences with it. I just really enjoy it. The NARS, I would say, is a little bit more lightweight even than this one. This one does not feel heavy, but the NARS, I would say, is even more lightweight than this. This one is a better price point, but that NARS is going to be really, really hard to beat for me. I would say this is probably on par with the House Labs. They have different properties, but I would say that this is on par with how much I like it. So it's a close second. But I will, of course, keep testing this and let you know all of my thoughts at the very end of the month. I don't expect my thoughts to change too much on this simply because I have been trying it and testing it all week long, and today was the first day that I truly paid good attention to the wear all day, and I was still very, very impressed. So I really don't expect my thoughts to change too much. So I will keep you updated. I will let you know at the end of the month, but after a week of wear and a full day wear test today, I am very, very impressed. I think this is beautiful. I think this could easily become a staple for dry skin types. I can even see normal skin types really enjoying this. If you're oily, maybe not as much, but I definitely do think that if you are dry, this could be such a staple. And if you don't like that feeling of it never fully drying down, I do recommend powdering it, but otherwise this is such a fantastic foundation. I really, really love it. I love everything about it so far, and it's definitely competing with some of my top favorite foundations at this point. That is it for me today. Let me know down below, did you pick this one up? Are you still thinking about it? Do you have any questions that maybe I didn't quite answer? Let me know. I love hearing from you guys so much. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!